the fifth game of the 1961 World Series between the New York Yankees and the Cincinnati Reds. Direct from Crosley Field in Cincinnati.
Hi everybody, this is Joe Garagiola with Mel Allen, ready to bring you the fifth game of this 1961 World Series. Another good crowd on hand here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati. It's 75 degrees, and you can see by the shirt sleeves, another perfect day for baseball. And it'll be Ralph Terry and Joey Jay. Then some changes. Yogi Berra will not be in the lineup for the New York Yankees. Yogi suffered an arm injury when he made that attempt, that diving attempt. He suffered an arm injury, not serious, but enough to keep him out of the lineup. Mickey Mantle, because of the bad leg, once again will not be in the lineup. He'll be out. Well, there have been some changes as far as the Yankees. And for Cincinnati, Don Blasingame has recovered enough. His injured finger, he'll be in the lineup. The Cincinnati Reds are down 3-1, in case you're wondering if anybody has ever come back from a 3-1 to go on to win it. In modern times, in 1925, the Pittsburgh Pirates over the Washington Senators. And as late as 1958, these same New York Yankees against the Milwaukee Braves were down 3-1 to come on to win it. Remember in that series, Eddie Matthews, who got off to a slow start. Fred Haney shook up the lineup a little bit, dropped in the sixth, got off the 3-1 edge, but then the Yankees came on strong to win it. Joey Jay, who won the only game that Cincinnati has been able to win, and you can bet that they have been talking about him in the Yankee clubhouse. And of course, Jay going over with his young catcher, Johnny Edwards. Yogi hit a big home run off Joey Jay. Jay has three good pitches going for him. He's got a slider, a fastball, and a curveball. With this curveball, he'll throw a diving sort of a curveball into the left-handed hitter. It'll, of course, break away from the right-hand hitter very sharply. And then he throws what a lot of ball players call Uncle Charlie's lollipop. That's a big roundhouse sort of a curveball that he'll just show you and kind of set you up for the quick diving curveball that he uses for the out pitch. It could be that it'll be a factor here because of the difference in the ballpark as to the pitching pattern. Now, the only one that gave Jay real trouble was Yogi. He's out of the lineup. And talking to Joey Jay before the ball game, he says he doesn't think there's any set pattern as far as getting out the good hitter. You just find your best pitch and you go with it. Young catcher Edwards says he usually starts off thinking that the slider is the best pitch and hope that the others develop. So Joey Jay against the New York Yankees, and Ralph Terry is the pitcher for the New York Yankees. Terry was given a little bit of trouble by Gordon Coleman. In fact, a lot of trouble. It was Gordon Coleman's home run that started the Cincinnati Reds off. Terry is a hard thrower, a good fastball, but he hurt his arm this spring and went to the change of speed pitches. And it'll be interesting to see how he goes, especially against Gordon Coleman. Because Coleman says that he hit a fastball that was out over the plate. And in this ballpark with a 366 down the right field line and Coleman proving that he can go get that ball outside, see if Terry will come inside or will he stay with change of speed pitches. And Terry does have a good fastball, but over at the Yankee Stadium, he started off with a lot of breaking pitches. But once again, remember, this is a smaller ballpark, and the ball goes out of here in right field, right center, and in left center. So it could be that he'll stay away from the change of speed pitches. This will be an interesting thing to watch as Terry works against these Cincinnati Reds. And the lineup that Joey Jay will be facing for the New York Yankees, Bob Richardson. And Richardson is the leading hitter as far as base hits, 8 for 17. Bobby Richardson at second base. Batting second, Tony Kubek. Shortstop, Roger Maris. In center field, batting cleanup, John Blanchard. Blanchard in right field. Elston Howard, the catcher. Skowron at first base. Lopez in left field. Boyer at third base. And Ralph Terry, the pitcher. And for the Cincinnati Reds, Blasingame at second base. Casco at shortstop. Pinson in center field. Frank Robinson in right field. Gordon Coleman at first base. Wally Post in left field. Gene Freeze at third base. John Edwards is the catcher, and Joey Jay is the pitcher. The fifth game of the 1961 World Series is being brought to you from Crosley Field in Cincinnati.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the
We're found in a moment of silence in memory of Mr. Powell Crosley, Jr., the late president of the Reds. And now the singing of our national anthem by Cindy Grogg.
Stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight are the ramparts we watch, where the galaxy streaming and the rocket fleeing along the bursting in air. It burst through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say was that star-spangled banner yet waved o'er the land of the
Gillette has been asked to bring you the following public service message. Now more than ever, U.S. savings bonds strengthen America's power abroad and our economy at home. And they help you, the buyer, too. They help you build financial security, help you reach important goals like buying a home, sending the children to college, retiring someday. Today, interest rates on U.S. bonds are the best ever. So sign up at work for the automatic payroll savings plan, or make regular bond purchases at the bank. Own a share in America with United States savings bonds. And now we're getting set to have the throwing out of the first ball. And today it'll be Matty Schwab, the 82-year-old park superintendent of Crosley Field. Matty Schwab, 82-year-old park superintendent of Crosley Field. And seated next to him, you see him pointing, is Commissioner Ford Frick. Hank Zurich, the publicity man of the Cincinnati Reds. Matty Schwab to young John Edwards, who returns a baseball. Now, this program is authorized under television rights granted by the Commissioner of Baseball, solely for the entertainment of our audience, and any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express consent of the Commissioner is prohibited. Any commercial or other use of the program, such as by charging admission for its showing, is similarly prohibited, unless authorized in writing by the Commissioner. It'll be Joey Jay against Ralph Terry. A bright day here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati. Cincinnati Reds and the New York Yankees. And now, here is Mal Allen.
Hello there, everybody. Thank you very much, Joe. Joey Jay, the 26-year-old right-hander, who was 26 on August the 15th, who was raised in Middletown, Connecticut, has the weight of the world, baseball speaking, on his shoulders today, as his Cincinnati Red teammates are ready to break out onto the field. The first little leaguer ever to become a big leaguer has never had a more important assignment. His team cannot afford to lose another game, and they come out full of vim and vigor. At first base for Cincinnati, Gordy Coleman. At second base, Don Blasingame. Shortstop, Eddie Casco. Third base, Gene Freese. In left field, Wally Post. In center field, Veda Pinson. In right field, Frank Robinson. Back to the plate, Johnny Edwards. And on the mound, Joey Jay, who beat the Yankees in the second game of this World Series. Coaching at first base is Wally Moses, a veteran of World Series competition, and Frank Crosetti, who in the first game of this World Series participated actively in his 100th World Series game as either player or coach, having been eligible for 108. But to the business at hand, Joey Jay was a member of the 1958 Milwaukee Braves, who had beaten the Yankees for the world title in 1957. And so from the standpoint of a psychological attitude, while he did not get into that World Series in 1958, he knows that he was with a team that was ahead 3-1 and still lost the series. And so he knows it can be done. And he's out to prolong it. I'll say this. It isn't anything unusual, of course, but the Cincinnati Reds came with their bags packed today to catch that plane, the train for New York.
It's been a pattern of this ball club all year to be able to bounce back.
Bobby Richardson, who has had 8 hits in this series, the leading hit getter, up for New York, takes a strike. Ed Runge calling balls and strikes. Jocko Conlon at first, Frank Huon at second, Augie Donatelli at third, Shag Crawford along the left field line, Bobby Stewart along the right field line. There's a smash and another base hit for Bobby Richardson, and he has really had a hot hand in this series. Base hit number 9 for Bobby Richardson, who was robbed of a hit by Elio Chacon with a brilliant backhanded stab of a liner. And that gives Richardson 20 base hits in not quite 12 World Series games, this being the 12th one, having had 11 last year to lead both Pirates and New York. Tony Kubek steps in. Gene Freese shortened up at third, outfield straight away. Coleman holding against Richardson. Foul ball coming back out of play, strike one. Neither team has done an extraordinary amount of hitting in this series. And a lot of the left-hand batters have been rather effectively shackled. Kubek has had 3 for 16. Change up is high outside, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. As Joey says, he's no Bob Feller, but he's got a good fastball. Tony Kubek from Milwaukee. One ball, 1 strike. And it's a little high as he let up on the pitch. Ball 2. He pulls the string every once in a while. He's got excellent overhand motion with a down curve, somewhat like Camilo Pascual in the American League.
I don't think it's as quick a breaking curveball, Mel, but he'd be about the closest, I would say.
He got a lot of confidence. Hutch helped bring that out in him this year. Holding him close. Keeping him honest at first. Always to get that little extra advantage in the event of the ground ball as he's trying to get Kubek to hit. There's a high fly ball into center, deep center. Pinson going back toward the wall. Makes the catch, and Richardson retreats to first. 1 away. And here's Roger Maris, who has had 1 hit in the series. But that was a 9th inning homer in the first game here in Cincinnati that won the game.
You know, in talking about that home run, the Yankee players feel that Mantle's presence in the lineup was a big factor, because with Mickey in the lineup, Roger was getting more balls to hit.
This series with Mantle's absence has brought to the forefront something teammates have always said, but seldom been publicized. It's inside for a ball. As people say, take me to your leader. Mantle has been the Yankee leader. And just his mere presence in the lineup helps them. And he has to be really badly hurt not to play, and he is badly hurt. 1 ball, no strikes. There's a bouncer, foul down the first baseline. Wally Moses, who coached at Cincinnati last year, played in the '46 World Series with the Boston Red Sox, coaching at first base for New York. When Mickey learned that Yogi was out of action because of a jammed right shoulder, even though the doctor said that he couldn't do anything for 2 or 3 weeks after the wound opened yesterday on his base hit, he put on his uniform and said, "I'm going to see if I can play." But Ralph Houck said, "No, stay on the bench." High foul coming back out of play. It is not beyond the realm of possibility that you might see him in there as a pinch hitter. We don't know. But Joe, when you start thinking about Fellows, he's had an opening in the side of his thigh that they said you could put a baseball into. And it opened up and actually bled yesterday when he had to leave the game after getting that base hit in the 4th inning.
Bled right through his uniform, and Bobby Richardson was telling me this morning that the fellas, 1 and 2 at a time, have worked up enough courage to go take a look at it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a high fly ball to right field. Frank Robinson moving under it near the line, not very deep. 2 away, and Richardson retreats to first. Now John Blanchard comes up.
See the young catcher going out to talk to Joey Jay, and you can bet that one of the things he's talking about is watch the first ball. Blanchard jumped on a Perky pitch, the first one as a pinch hitter, and tied up the ball game. And speaking of Perky, Mel, he's already in the bullpen. There's nothing to wait for. This is it for the Cincinnati Ball Club.
Well, they got all winter to rest, as the managers and coaches say, and if you have to work overtime for a day or two, it won't hurt you. 2 down, Richardson on first. Johnny Blanchard with 1 hit in the series, and that was a key pinch hit homer. Takes outside, ball 1. It was rather lost in the headlines that Maris's 9th inning homer won the game. There you see the Cincinnati bullpen, hoping that all they have to do is sit there and watch. And when Jay is right, that may be just all they have to do. Joey, a 21-game winner. The first 20-game winner Cincinnati has had since the days of the great Whip, Ewell Blackwell, who won 20 back in 1947. First half of the first inning. Richardson on first, 2 outs. Holding him on, and they throw the ball away. And Harvey goes on to second. Gordy Coleman retrieves it. And we'll await the official scorer's decision to see whether it was a bad throw or a poor reception. Actually, we might judge it here, but there are official scorers, and that's what they're there for. So they give the error to Gordy Coleman. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. Richardson on second. Low and inside, ball 2. That's only the second error that Cincinnati's made in the series, and there was a lot of debate yesterday about whether or not they should have given Pinson an error on a ball, a base hit, in which the runner Richardson went to second. Most baseball men said that he had gone into the gap, he'd have to raise up, turn around, throw left-hand, could have gotten him anyway. Right over, strike 1, 2-1. A 2-1 count on Blanchard. Blanchard, who hit the pinch hit homer, the 2 outs in the 8th inning the other day to tie the score, and then Maris got the headlines with the 9th inning homer that won it. It's low outside, ball 3. Elston Howard is on deck.
Interesting to see Joey Jay work. He said he doesn't have a set pattern as far as pitching to these hitters. He doesn't think he can get them out consistently, the good hitter, by going to the same pitch. He said, I have to find my best pitch, and you can see that they're both probing. and he's leaning heavily on his breaking pitches. He hasn't thrown but 2 fastballs in this inning.
3-1 to count on Blanchard, who hits a high drive to deep right. There goes Robinson way back to the fence, and the ball is going, and is gone. A home run for Johnny Blanchard. And the Yankees lead 2-0. Johnny Blanchard, who hit 21 during the season, a boy from Minneapolis, who had 4 pinch hit homers during the season, and time after time hit clutch homers, as given glad hand treatment in the dugout. He is a tremendous pull hitter, Joe.
It looked like the ball was inside. A breaking pitch, a slider, about belt high or maybe even a little bit below. And it was definitely a breaking pitch, and he went out and got it, and he sure can pull that ball as right.
Elston Howard steps in. He hits a drive to deep left field, maybe up against the scoreboard, and it hits into the hole and of the opening in the scoreboard, and it's a ground rule double. See, in the scoreboard, those are openings, as you see, in order to put the numbers of runs scored in the innings. Anything that hits in there is an automatic ground rule double. So it did rebound. Elston Howard doubles to left. That is his 4th hit, 2nd double. He's had 3 extra base hits in 4. Jim Maloney gets up now in the Reds bullpen. When you're behind 3 games to 1, any situation develops, you start getting fellas ready. Here's Bill Skowron. The theory being there is no tomorrow if you don't get them out.
This will be a real yo-yo day in that bullpen, Mel. They'll be up and down in the shuttle system. As soon as they get in trouble, they'll be coming out of there.
Skowron 4 for 12 in the series. Ball 1 inside. And that has been a pattern that they have followed a lot, pitching him tight. They pitch him tight generally with fastballs or change up on him, and then try to get ahead of him, and with 2 strikes make him chase a curve outside. 1 ball, no strikes, 2 outs, 2 in. Low outside, ball 2, 2-0. Johnny Blanchard collecting his 2nd hit, both of them homers. 6 home runs in the series for New York. Joey J pitching to Skowron. Howard on 2nd. Lopez on deck. 2 outs. There's the ground ball foul past Frank Grossetti. A 2-1 count. They're shaded a little toward the left for Skowron. Often hits toward right. Robinson not playing him straight away, a little over to right center. Got a lot of the right field line. Breaking pitch misses. It's inside. 3-1. The pitch aimed at the batter to back him up and then hook over for the strike, but didn't quite break enough.
That has to be that big breaking curveball, because if you start at the hitter and it hangs inside and he's falling away, that'll get right on that fat part of the bat, and that's danger.
A 3-1 count. 2 away. Howard on 2nd. 2 in. 1st inning. Strike 2. Full count. Bill Skowron, who once said after they had asked him about trying to get more base on balls, he said, I just got the swing. His proportion of walks is far below the norm of a man who would play every day. One season he had something like 20 walks and played practically all the year. Full count, 2 down. There's a drive, hit foul down the left field line, out of play. Up against the screen. Foul homer by about 20 feet. Full count. There's a young man, got himself a World Series souvenir. Full count on Skowron. Now let's see what the pattern is, see whether he will try and curb him 3-2 or not. Or pitch him tight. There's a drive into the straightaway center. Pinson going back, and it's off the wall. Here comes Howard around third to score. Skowron stumbles over first and can only get himself a single. He stumbled, going around first and tripped. And out of the dugout comes Freddie Hutchinson. It's 3-0 New York as Skowron ripped a long drive off the center field fence. But as he turned first, his foot caught the bag and he went sprawling. And we're going to have a new pitcher as Joey Jay gives up 3 runs here in the first inning on 4 hits. And coming in is Jim Maloney making his first appearance. We have not yet seen him in the series.
Maloney is probably the hardest thrower as far as actual speed on his Cincinnati pitching staff. He's the ideal long man because he can go for a long stretch. And Joey Jay walking off the mound gets a nice hand from this crowd. Joey relying on a lot of breaking stuff, trying to find that good pitch, but these Yankees really pounced on him. Richardson a base hit. A home run by Johnny Blanchard. A double by Howard, and now a single by Moose Skowron. So Hutchinson walking back to the dugout now as the young catcher Edwards and Maloney go over the battery signs. You go over them in the clubhouse, but you make sure once the pitcher comes in, 2 youngsters out there. This kid's got a great fastball, Maloney. He'll rear back and just fire that ball.
Jim Maloney is a 6', 295-pounder. His winter residence in Fresno, California. Just 21 years old.
Just to emphasize the edge that the Yankees have with the 3 runs, of course, the 3-run lead, that's enough, but it really takes a bat out of the Cincinnati hands right away because you can't go to bunting. There's no steal plays. There's no hit-and-run plays. You almost have to play a base-on-balls game to try to get some base runners and get that tying run up at the plate. 3-0 lead in the first inning. I'd say that's the best strategy a pitcher can ever get.
Hector Lopez will be the first man Jim Maloney will face. Maloney came up with Cincinnati last year after spending most of the season with Nashville. This is only his 3rd season in organized ball. He can fire it. Hector Lopez playing left field today. Berra out and Mantle out. 2 down. Fastball high, ball 1. Hector Lopez, a native of Panama, hit .221 during the season, but appeared largely as pinch hitter.
The first man facing Maloney is Hector Lopez. Lopez drills the ball deep into the right field corner. It's in there for extra bases. Skowron scores to give the Yankees their 4th run as Lopez winds up with a triple.
Are still looking very optimistically toward the future. Here's the pitch, and Boyer swings as a long drive to deep left center field, heading out toward the scoreboard, hits up against the scoreboard. Coming in to score is Lopez. Here's a throw to second, and it's a 2-base hit for Boyer as he slides in, beating a throw. Taken by Blassingame. Boyer with a double up against the scoreboard in left center field. Lopez scoring. And that brings up Ralph Terry, who has not thrown a pitch as yet, but still has a 5-0 lead. The Yankees are putting on a most impressive batting demonstration this afternoon. Here in this first inning, they have had a homer, a triple, 2 doubles, and 2 singles. And the pitcher, Ralph Terry, now steps up with Boyer on second. The Yankees have scored 5 runs. So Terry now steps in. Jim Maloney, all set to work. There's a look back toward Boyer on second. The pitch, comes in low for a ball. The remarkable thing about the Yankees, not only the power of their starting lineup, but the power of their reserves. As we have seen right here this afternoon, Blanchard playing right field with a 2-run homer. Lopez in left with a 3-base hit. As the pitch coming in low for a ball, ball 2. Ball 2 to Ralph Terry. Jim Maloney on the mound. As the stretch and the pause by Maloney. The pitch on the way is over for a called strike. Count now is 2 balls and a strike. Two and 1 to Ralph Terry. Boyer takes his lead off second. Score the ball game, New York 5 and the Reds nothing. Terry is a pretty fair hitter, although he has no series hits to his credit. Here's the pitch coming up. He swings and misses, and the count now is 2-2. Terry is trying to crash the World Series victory column after pitching twice against Pittsburgh in 1960, once this series, and at present has an 0-3 record. Jim Maloney this past year had a 6-7 record for Cincinnati. Right-hander set to work. The count now is 2-2 to Terry. As a look back toward second, DeBoyer taking a big lead off second. The pitch swung on and missed, and Terry is in the strikeout to retire the side. 9 men batting for New York in the top of inning number 1, with the total showing 5 runs to the Yankees, 6 hits, 1 error, and 1 man is left. The score after 1/2 inning of play. New York 5 and the Reds are coming up.